Whether it's adorable, hilarious, or utterly disgusting social media content, most of us are guilty of unleashing the old bout of kiddie spam on the interwebs. But do you ask your toddler's permission first? That's the advice from the E-Safety Commissioner today in a new online safety guide for under fives.
It's really about involving them in the discussion around what you do with that photo, because you're creating their digital footprint and you want to get those foundations of respect and consent early on.
Most definitely, all parents should be asking children, no matter what age.
Obviously, I don't think a toddler is capable of making that decision for themselves.
Where does it all end? You know, do we ask them, is it okay if Daddy gives you some broccoli for dinner?
The other risk for oversharing parents, disgruntled kids.
I mean, I get it. I know I'm freaking adorable and obscenely photogenic, but sometimes you just need a break, you know?
Viral sensation baby Wally says kids have rights too.
Adorable rights. I mean, what happens if people, see this in the future and stop taking me seriously? Like, in 10 years? Or right after this story?
And look, the somewhat disturbing-looking kid makes a good point. Once posted, your pics are essentially the property of Facebook or Instagram to use as they see fit.
They own the photo, so the child can become a form of a commodity. But really, we want to maximize the benefits of technology and minimize the risks.
So no matter how goddamn adorable they are, oh yes you are, who's a beautiful boy?
Hey, stop it!
It may be time to ease up on the sharenting, or at least ask your mini-me's permission first.
You don't have to be so surprised about that.
We didn't see you like
I don't want to talk about this story. I just want to see more photos of Wally.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I know with my kids, so Ollie's 12 and I'm always thinking before I post because I think I don't want him to be embarrassed at school, but I never think to ask Evie, who's 4. I mean, I wouldn't even think she'd know what Instagram is, but I guess hearing them say that, it's about encouraging them to understand, think before you post, am I okay with this picture going up?
So it's about them seeing that that process is actually happening.
That there's thought,
Yes.
you don't just take a photo, post it and not think about
that. It's something worth thinking about.
Yes.
My fear, though, is that it has the opposite effect, right? Because they're going to give their consent when they're too young to understand what that means, and then it just becomes habitual, doesn't it?
Well, I think it's really interesting to give them a chance to know what giving consent means and to have a choice, to have a voice on whether you say yes or no to something.
But how do you explain to them the concept of a digital footprint?
But I think they understand that as they grow. You know,
Right.
the
You're just
decision...
introducing it when they're young and
the
then
idea of
continuing the
choice.
conversation.
Yeah, the idea of choice, and then the understanding comes as you get older, but you've already been introduced to it as a kid.
I wonder if actually the bigger impact for this would be on the parents, because by asking parents to ask their kids, it lodges in the parents' mind that, oh, maybe this is yeah. Because that's the thing, right? Like, the bigger question here is whether or not we should be posting as much as we do.
No, and I feel like that horse is bolted. I feel like sharing pics of your kids on Facebook is just like sending them, you know, pictures in the mail. This is what they're up to on their first day of school. It is the currency that we now update you on what's happening with our kids.
Yeah, but you don't think that if we figured out that was dangerous, like if we got
regret all of this. But
oh, okay. Yeah, there's plenty I regret about this already. Yeah.